Welcome to the newest and coolest sports talk podcast in the world, KP&AC Media. We will be covering numerous topics in the world of sports. We'll provide you up-to-date current news, whether it be the NFL and college football, the NBA and NCAA basketball. We'll cover some baseball, and we'll cover any other topics you'd like to discuss in the world of sports. We'll give you a heavy dose of fantasy football. Tony and I have been doing this for a long time, so we do want to cover fantasy football as much as we can on here. And we will also give you some poker content from time to time. This time of year, we know it's draft time, so we will be providing our round one mock draft. First, we just like to give you some background information. I go by KP, and I am from Canton, Ohio originally, and I'm currently in San Antonio, currently working with the men's basketball team at the University of Incarnate Word. I've been a college basketball coach for about 5 years, and my educational background is sports management, but I'm ready to give this podcast a go here. We're pretty excited about this, pretty excited to bring you some content every day. If you can, please like and subscribe below, and our Instagram will be in the description. AC, tell these people something they don't know about you.
Yo. What's up? Anthony Collins, Northeast Ohio, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days. Okay. Single dad of 2.
Little Fresh Prince.
Yeah, 1 boy, 1 girl. Keep it interesting. 15-year firefighter, paramedic, real estate agent, part-time poker player, full-time greatest fantasy football player ever. My testosterone levels may be low, but my sports IQ is high. So I got that going for me. But besides that, I'm passionate about sports, football, basketball, golf specifically, poker player, gambler, big time Bitcoin advocate, diamond hands, laser eyes. We're going to get into it. We'll do a little pop culture, current world events, music, whatever. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll throw a little bit of everything. So let's get right into the NFL draft here. You go ahead and start us off. What you got there, number 1? Who you got with the Jags at 1?
Yeah, 1's about as chalky as it gets. I mean, Lawrence is the guy. Everybody has been expecting Trevor Lawrence to be the guy basically for the last 3 or 4 years. I remember watching the Herd, and Urban Meyer, I think he was a sophomore, was saying that Lawrence was the best college quarterback prospect that he had ever seen. And this is an Ohio State coach, so that's kind of when I started really following the guy. And I mean, he seems to be he's the truth. That's what it looks like. Seems to be in that upper echelon of those big time prospects coming out. And I'm expecting big things from him. I mean, it's not going to be easy with the Jags. You're kind of rebuilding that whole team. But new coach, I think it could be good.
Absolutely. So I obviously have Trevor Lawrence here as well, going number 1 to the Jags. I agree with everything you said. Makes all 3 passes. He can complete passes at all 3 levels. Good under pressure. I mean, you said it. He seems to be the number 1 pick for years now. And, pretty sure Urban Meyer took that job with the Jags knowing that he was going to get Lawrence and be able to develop him. The only knock that I've read on his game is he can throw some interceptions when he gets outside the pocket. I think that's anybody. So, I mean, you have to find some knock on somebody. But again, I think he's about the most surefire thing since Luck, really, since Andrew Luck in 2012.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And even throwing the interceptions, you don't mind that from a young guy who's trying to fit into the tight pockets, and he's not afraid to make the big throws. He's got that Aaron Rodgers arm. He just flings it, and I'm expecting big things from him. We're going to hear a lot from him for the next 15 years. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that's definitely number 1. I think we agree here on 2, but mine is Zach Wilson for the Jets, BYU. Is that who you got?
Yeah, that's who I got too.
Okay, so I just put here, I mean, after trading Sam Darnold, they knew they were going to have to replace Darnold. This is another kid, he takes care of the ball, unlike Sam Darnold. So that's one thing. his throwing motion compared to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's pretty good comparison there. I don't think they're really doing much else comparing him to Aaron Rodgers other than his throwing motion at this point. But he's sneaky athletic. Some of the concerns were he broke out in 2012, and then which is more recent, and then he's injury prone. But he is Pro Football Focus did have him rated as the highest rated quarterback versus zone coverage. And I guess the NFL comparison I'm hearing is Tony Romo. So just what's your take? Yeah, what's your take on Wilson?
I kind of compared him to like a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. But I could see the Tony Romo comparisons. You always worry, or you think about these guys coming out of like smaller schools. Not that BYU is necessarily super small, but it's not like a big time, power conference, go out there and playing with a bunch of talent. But he seems to be the guy. And I think that's probably going to be the pick. Personally, I like Justin Fields better. But I keep hearing, from what I understand, Zach Wilson's just bound to be that guy at number 2.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus there. That the Jets they almost have to go quarterback because replacing Darnold. So it's definitely going to be quarterback there, and all signs point towards Zach Wilson. So
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. So so we'll jump into number 3 here. I'll let you go ahead and start off with 3. 49ers pick. They traded a lot to get up to this spot.
Yeah, they gave up a shit ton here. Okay, so I'm going to go with Mac Jones at number 3. And this has kind of been the word that everybody's been given, that Shanahan prefers this guy over the others. Now, I've been hearing a lot lately about some of the other members of the 49ers staff not really loving Mac Jones as much.
I heard that as well today.
Yeah.
I heard they like Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's the word I'm getting. And I don't know. I mean, you don't know what to believe these days with, in the draft around this time, especially. But I'm going to say Mac Jones. I think Shanahan gets his guy. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I wonder what they're going to do with Garoppolo if they get Jones, because I'm wondering if there's going to be.
We'll find another porn star.
Yeah, the Prince of Persia, man. He's a good-looking dude. I don't know. I just think with Jones, there's not necessarily going to end up being a reason to keep him around. I think he's going to be unhappy. I don't think they'll trade him during the draft, but I do think a trade could come mid-season. The quarterback goes down, something like that. You might see it.
Yeah, when this originally happened, I thought that Belichick. I thought Mac Jones seemed more like a Belichick type guy, and that he would try to get involved, but I don't think they got enough to give up to jump from 15 to 3. I mean, it's, you giving up your entire future, and it's just, I don't think it's worth that at this point. But I feel like he's the most Belichick quarterback type. I mean, just from,
I could see that. I know he's had some issues. I think he's had at least 1 DUI, maybe 2.
I actually had that. Yeah. In 2000, that's what got brought up recently. There, 2017, he had one. And he also has anger issues is another thing that's come out about him. Yeah.
Right. And he's also playing with, a bunch of rock stars and throwing to 2 of the best wide receivers in college football.
2 first rounders.
Offensive line. So I don't know. He wouldn't be my guy at that spot either. But I don't know. I mean, what did they give up? They gave up 2 first and I forget what else they gave up, maybe a third, but they gave up a lot.
They did. It was like a 3-way trade. I think it was the Dolphins and Jets, I want to say, were involved. I know the Dolphins, but it was a haul. I mean, they moved up. They gave up a lot to move up a far ways. So, I mean, they're definitely going quarterback. I mean, that's
yeah, they have to. They have to. Yeah. So I think the first 3 picks we're in agreement. Mm-hmm. And I think come forward, we're gonna be disagreeing a little bit from here on out. We'll see how it goes, but
yeah, I definitely think that this is where it kind of starts getting a couple different ways. Yeah, it does. And I'll go ahead and say that I think that at 4, the Falcons here, I don't think you're. I don't think. Who do you have them at 4, real quick? Actually, just so I
I
know.
have okay, so I have the Broncos actually trading up with the
That's
Atlanta
right.
Falcons to take Justin Fields at 4.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead. You go ahead and break down that first, then.
Okay, so I'm a big Justin Fields guy. Basically, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I've been watching the guy really closely for a while. 6'3", 228, big arm, uh,
Accurate.
accurate. Yeah, I mean, outside of 2 games, he's been a really good quarterback. I think he just has all the tools. I think he's pretty ready. Every quarterback could use at least a few games to sit, if not a full year. But I think Justin Fields is that guy, and I think Atlanta would be in a great spot. Now, I might change this come tomorrow
Right.
because I'm hearing a lot of stuff about a possible Julio Jones trade.
I heard
So
that as well.
if that comes to fruition, then obviously I think your pick at number 4 with Pitts would probably be the guy. But for now, I'm going to stick with Justin Fields, Broncos trade up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I could see that, and I really could see them figuring out a way to get Fields. The Broncos seem to be linked to Fields for a while now, so I could see them doing something there. I have them taking Fields, I believe. No, I actually have them taking. I'm sorry. I have the Patriots trading up to take Fields, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. And then I have the Broncos taking Lance, but we'll go over that as well. So I
Right.
think those two quarterbacks are kind of the up in the air type of question marks where you want to go. Because I think they both could be good pros, and they're both going to go first round, probably top 15, if not top 10. So I think they could go either way. But yeah, at 4, so I have Kyle Pitts, who's probably the best player in the draft. And would you say that you heard people do when they hear about it and talk about him?
Yeah, every time his name comes up, they jizz in their pants. I mean, I don't know. It started off as just being like, oh, this Kyle Pitts, he's a really good tight end. And then, I mean, it was just like every day, just full
Yeah,
coverage, Kyle Pitts, everything's Kyle Pitts,
yeah,
greatest tight end ever. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun to watch. He does look like a beast. It kind of reminds me of like LeBron had he just stuck with football like
yeah,
that. That's Kyle
yeah,
Pitts.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, he is a freakish athlete, a crazy, crazy athlete, and I feel the same way. As soon as people start talking about Kyle Pitts, every single show, every single person, every analyst was talking about Pitts is the best player in the draft. He's the best athlete ever. So I think that the Falcons will try to ride out Matt Ryan for a couple more years. I think he's 36, I want to say. So as you see, like with the players playing to 41, 42 now. I mean, I could see them riding him out. You hear some of the analysts talk about, Trey Lance is just like the opposite of Matt Ryan, the big arm who's more mobile. He can get around more, make more plays. So that's originally what I have here also is that if Kyle Pitts isn't the guy, I think they could go Trey Lance, but I think they go Pitts. And especially I've heard the
Yeah.
same too, what you said about Julio. That's been something recently.
Yeah,
That's
it'll be interesting to see. I know that the Falcons they're big time like over the cap. I seen they got 3 players who account for basically half their cap.
mm-hmm.
So that's I think that Julio Jones trade might be a thing. I mean, we'll see. We'll learn more about it, but yeah, I think you and I are on the same page as far as what happens if there's a trade or not a trade. But
Yeah,
yeah, Kyle
yeah,
Pitts, I love it, man.
yeah. And also wanted to throw in too. They lost Hooper last year, so they got that open. They got that open availability at the tight end there that they need to fill. And he has a wingspan of just under 7 feet, which is insane.
That's big.
Runs the 40 and 4.46. And I mean, they also called him a generational talent. He scored twice on J.C. Horn when they played, who's going to be the first or second corner off the board. They also have, he also is one of the only tight ends that are going to be going this high. I was trying to think of how to word it, but he's going to be the only, because there's such a big drop off at the tight end position.
Yeah, it's not a deep class at all.
No, I mean, you're not even going to see anybody go till like middle to end of day 2. I mean, it's going to be late second, early third till you probably even see another tight end go. Right. So it's just one of those things. If you want to fill that spot in again, just the playmaker that he is. So yeah, so I got Pitts at 4, and you have Justin Fields
at 4,
and moved. Yeah, the Broncos trading up to take him.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to 5 here with the Bengals, and this is also where it gets interesting because I actually was going to go either way here with the offensive lineman Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase. I went Jamar Chase. I think you went Sewell, right?
I did go. Yeah. Penei Sewell, as I like to call him.
Sewell.
Yeah. But, go ahead with what you think with Chase.
Yeah, I just think with the Bengals, this is more of a spot to get a big time playmaker. And they lost AJ Green. They got T. Higgins, who's good. Tyler Boyd is okay, but I still feel like that position, Joe Burrow needs one more weapon there. So that's why I went back and forth, because they need to protect him too. So I mean, it could go either way. You could flip a coin, and it's whatever they feel they need more at this point, if they want to protect him or get Chase. Also,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say too, I think we both are in agreement though. Chase is more of our probably second or third receiver, because I think we both like Devonta Smith more, right?
I personally love,
yeah.
He's my favorite wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah. So, that's a tough one there, but I think that's where they go. He does run a 4.3. Chase runs a 4.38 40. He had 20 TDs his sophomore year, and then he opted out his junior year, so he's had a year off. He won the award for the best receiver in the country, the Fred Biletnikoff Award. So yeah, I see him as, most people have him as the number 1 receiver, even though Smith, to both of us is probably, I think the size on Smith, we'll get to him when we both, because I think we both have him coming up here. We'll get to him more, but I think it's the size on Smith
right. Yep. That seems to be the knock. And at 5, I have him taking Penei Sewell. I think you look at Burrow's injury. I know Burrow, he's been calling for a wide receiver. That's what he'd rather have the toys. But I just like Sewell, man. He's a big dude. Best left tackle in the draft. A lot of people are saying technically sound. I just, he's your bookend tight end for the next 10 years at least.
Offensive tackle.
That's sorry, I didn't mean tight end. But yeah, offensive tackle for the next 10 years. Yeah. And, he's going to be protecting Burrow. And I think that's a big deal. You can build off of that, build off your line.
Yeah. I think, I think they could go either way with this pick. It's just whatever.
Yeah. And any wide receiver that goes to Cincinnati, I don't care who it is, they're probably going to have a good career. I think Burrow is going to be a great quarterback.
And he slings it.
I don't like to say it because he's in our division, but yeah.
Yeah, he slings the rock, man. He gets the ball out. I mean, you saw last year, she shares it around and he throws, 150 times a game. So, I mean, right. They get out there, he chucks that thing around. So,
because you got to, but yeah, I like anybody that goes there, and I like any quarterback goes to the 49ers. So,
yeah,
just the right.
Yeah.
System.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good point too about the Niners earlier, that whatever situation that quarterback that goes to the Niners is going to be in a great situation, I should say. I mean,
that's does this thing. Yeah. He's great with QBs.
Right.
Got a lot of weapons. So
defense is set. I mean, their defense is good.
Right.
Yeah.
So then at 6 is when I have Kyle Pitts going.
Okay.
Yep. So he stays in Florida. Stays down in Miami, down in your hood.
Yeah.
6'6", 240, like you said, man, does everything right, seems to be the guy, and that would be my pick at number 6.
Yeah, and I could see that happening too. I mean, easily. I mean, if the Falcons go this is what's a funny situation. I'm kind of just thinking of it now, but what's funny is if at 4 the Falcons take if the Falcons take Trey Lance or Justin Fields, let's just say they take a quarterback, and Kyle Pitts is sitting there at 5 for the Bengals. Are they still looking at a receiver? Or are they going to hop on Kyle Pitts? I mean, like with all the hype behind him, I'm just thinking that off the top of my head here because, I didn't even think, they already have a couple receivers that are fine. I mean, Higgins is good.
Yeah.
Boyd's fine.
Boyd, yeah. That could be big. You know what? I don't see many teams. Even the Bengals. I don't know if you can pass on Kyle Pitts.
That's what it is.
I think you can pass on a wide receiver because there's depth there.
Right.
I don't think you can pass on. So maybe that would be interesting, man.
I'm with you on that. Okay, so you got him at 6, which could easily happen as well. And then this is where I got Panay sold. So he opted out this past year. He's ready to play now, and I think he's the consensus number 1 offensive lineman in the draft. Right. I think he's going to go there, and then you get Tua, someone to protect Tua. He is the top-rated offensive lineman in Pro Football Focus history, not even just this year, in history. Good. And so you plug him in right away, and he's set there. And because I also could see, anything happening. This is where things get mixed up these last couple of picks, because Tua could use another, playmaker,
some weapons, yeah.
So anything could happen there too. Well, let's jump into 7 here, and I think we both have Devonta Smith, but do you have him going 7 here to the Lions?
I have the Lions selecting Jamar Chase at number 7.
Okay, so you got the receiver, but you got Chase here. Okay,
yeah, big body, kind of reminds me of like a smaller Megatron, just like big body type. That might be a poor comparison because he's like 5 inches shorter, but he's just like bigger body, big hands, catches, good radius, has all the tools, shows out, and a lot of the analysts I listen to, they all have him going as the first wide receiver. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with Jamar Chase at 7, a little help for Goff. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think with them losing Kenny Galladay, they got to get a receiver now.
Underrated wide receiver.
Yeah, and Marvin Jones, matter of fact. They lost both of them. So they lost their top 2. They definitely got to go receiver here. And I'm with you that they go receiver. I got Devonta Smith here. Alabama. So, Heisman winner, 6'6". They got him weighed in at 166, which is very slim. So I think they need to try to put on some muscle.
6 foot?
He's 6 foot, 166 listed at. Yeah. So, and then I think I saw another place he weighed in at 170, but his actual weigh-in I think was 166. But I think that's what they do at this level. You put on weight. I mean, you go in there, put on 10 to 15 pounds.
I mean, that's what I was at my college weight, and now look at me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Take your shirt off for the people.
I'm 200 pounds right now.
You got that dad bod.
My dad clocked me in high school, man, at like 4'3", So back in the backyard.
Yeah, that's right. If you didn't tear both your ACLs at the same time, you would have been good. Yeah. So I think they go receiver here with Devonta Smith, and you have Chase, which is definitely a possibility as well. So we got next so we have 8 here, and right now we have the Panthers sitting at 8, but I think we both have a trade at this spot. I think it's different, but I think we both got a trade. So why don't you break down your trade first, and then I'll break down mine.
So I have the Patriots moving up. They're going to take Trey Lance. That would be the guy that I have left, 6'4", 226, athletic, big arm. You give him a year behind Belichick to kind of learn. And I think he could be doing big things, not this year, but next. I think he would. I think Belichick would try to maybe wait it out a year. I don't think he gets against that. But, that's my guy. And I think if the Patriots do make that move, I think Gilmore is a part of that trade package.
Okay.
Yep. So, they'd obviously have to give up probably a Juan also, but I think Gilmore would be a part of that package. They move up.
Yeah. And then and then the Panthers falling back to 15 then.
Panthers falling back to 15, yeah.
Okay. So to me, with that breakdown that you just gave, I like that for the Panthers, really. I mean, they get Gilmore drop back 7 spots, and I think they take an offensive line. They're looking offensive lineman anyway, so they'll probably get a decent one. So that's a home run, I think, for the Panthers there.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. And that also is the same reason that I have the same trade partner, just I have them going a different direction. So I have the Patriots giving up the first, definitely going to give up a first, I think, next year. I think they'll have to give up a fourth. They have 3 4s this year, so I think they'll give up one of those. And then they might have to throw in, like you said, another piece. And whether it's, I don't know if it's Gilmore or if it's more of like another draft pick, but I think I don't think the price is usually as big for that move up 7 spots, to where I think it could be 2 or 3 picks with a first in there. But I think at that point, it's pretty obvious that they're moving up there to get the quarterback. And it's just, and I know that doesn't make a huge difference, but it's like, who's going to give up more, because I think the Bears have a chance to move up there as well. But I have the Patriots. I don't know if I said, but I have the Patriots.
I think Belichick is in a position. He just seen Tom Brady win another Super Bowl. You know, he needs to be relevant again and be like that. He wants everyone to think he's the guy, and he probably is. I mean, I think he's the best coach ever. But yeah, I think you give him a really good quarterback, and the sky's the limit for the Patriots again.
Yeah, I definitely think that you're right about that. He needs to prove that he can win without Tom. So he's going to do what he can to figure that out. Because if you're waiting to day 2 for a quarterback, there's really nobody there that's ready to play now.
I think he'll be moving to the top 10. And I'm hearing that teams are receiving calls in the top 10 from the Patriots. So if there is one trade, I think that's it.
Yeah, and I actually have them going with Justin Fields here. This is where I have Fields going. I think that they move up there. I think he's a little bit more fit for Belichick in the sense he's a little more accurate. Lance is still a little raw. So I think he might be – I think Belichick is, I think Belichick worries sometimes with guys like Lance, and just – because they still have to develop, and it could be a couple years. And like we talked about, Belichick's, he's not getting any younger. So I could see Fields going here. And I was just going to say with Fields, he ran a 4.45 in his 40, good accuracy. We talked about him earlier, very efficient. So that's who I have the Patriots taking here.
Right.
So
I have heard that Belichick is a fan of Fields.
Yeah.
If he's there, I think if it's between those two, I think he would take Fields. I just had Fields obviously gone in my mock. So
yeah. All right, number 9, pick 9. So this is the Broncos. You had the Broncos trading up earlier. So you had, who do you have falling back here? And tell us.
So now I got the Falcons.
That's right, Falcons.
Broncos moved with the Falcons. Falcons moved back. I think they get a pretty big haul for it. And I think they just go corner Patrick Surtain, Alabama, 6'2", 203. I think you got Matt Ryan, who is going to keep that offense relevant no matter who they have. And they need a defense.
I like that.
Historically bad at giving up points. So
that's another spot that it's such a good idea for the Falcons to move back if they're not going to take their quarterback. And they keep Julio, you can get a couple picks and still get one of the top, if not the top corner in the draft. So that's another decision that I could see happening.
Who you got at 9?
So I got Trey Lance here to the Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got Trey Lance here. I think that they like Fields as well, but I think that that's why Belichick gets to 8, because he knows that the Broncos like Fields. So he wants to get to him before the Broncos do. So
I like that. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I could see that happening. And then that ends the run on the top 5 for both of us. Cause that's all 5 quarterbacks in the top 9 right there. Then
top 9, 5 quarterbacks gone. Yep.
Yeah. And then we probably won't hear it till day 2, another quarterback. And the other part about Lance, he has inexperience too. I noticed that too. Read about he only played 19 games. But I guess he's compared to Andrew Luck at his playing style, just the big arm, He does run too much. They say they want him to get in the pocket more. But you remember when Patrick Mahomes came out, there were some question marks with him. How he took too many chances and he did it, and his decision making, and we all know how he is. So.
Yeah, and it's another small town school, North Dakota State. You never know what you're going to get, but some of the best quarterbacks are coming out of schools like that. So
yeah, exactly. All right, let's jump to 10 here. The Cowboys. I got the first corner off the board, and I think he's the number one corner, and not by much. I have J.C. Horn, and I think him and Surtain are the top two, but I like Horn here. And it's to the Cowboys, who I think that's the better fit for him. I know Jerry Jones loves him, some big physical corners. So he was, second team All CC, second team All SEC, 6 passes defended, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. He's the son of Joe Horn, so he's got the genes. Receiver for the Saints and played for a while in the NFL. He has a 41.5-inch vertical. And again, he's just Jerry Jones type of guy. So that's who I got here going to the Cowboys at 10.
Right. I also have J.C. Horn going to Dallas. I agree with everything you said. There's talk about Dallas wanting to move up. You know how Jerry Jones is. He wants, Kyle Pitts. He wants this guy, and he's always one to do big things, it seems like. He just wants to be relevant beyond anything else. But I think they make the smart move here. I think it is J.C. Horn. And I agree. Him and Surtain, I think, are, 1 and 1A. Plug and play right away.
Yeah. Plug and play right away.
A little tagline there.
There you go. And then the next pick. So I got 12 or 11, the Giants taking Surtain here, cornerback. And I didn't realize too, Surtain's 6'2", so he's a big guy too. Real big hands, natural cover skills. And, a lot of people have them taking a receiver here, but, they signed Kenny Golladay and they still have Shepard. I think they still have your guy. Who's the other, the other receiver there? Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I had him last year.
Fantasy. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a lot of fantasy talk out there, folks. So just stay tuned in for a lot of fantasy football talk as we get closer. But yeah, so Slayton's there, and I think they're pretty set there. And again, like Surtain is, like you said, plug and play right away.
Right away, yes. And at 11, I have the Giants taking Devonta Smith. This is where I have Smith coming in, the Slim Reaper. The way I'm looking,
Slim Reaper.
I think he'll put on some muscle. He is thin. It is what it is. Plenty of guys have been thin before in the league and they fill out. And to me, he's always, I don't know, he just seems like a Jerry Rice type, like really good route runner, gets in and out really fast. I think you got a healthy Barkley hopefully coming in next year. I like Daniel Jones more than most people. I think he's got a good arm. I just think need a little help on the line. You get a healthy Barkley, and I think Devonta Smith can do big things out in New York. So I like him. I think the Giants win the NFC East next year. Actually.
Okay. Bold move. Bold statement. But yeah. All right. Yeah, and if they get him, then they have Daniel Jones really has no excuses at that point. If they get Smith, they got weapons everywhere, on offense. He'll have no excuses because they have given him a few years. I know you like Daniel Jones, but I'm up and down with him. I haven't seen enough from him yet, but I do agree they haven't done a good job of giving him much help.
Right. Yeah, he's got receivers, and they're all decent, but true number one. I think that's Devonta Smith. I think they can do big things, and I don't know. I got a good feeling about the Giants this year. Okay. Not a super strong division anyway, so
right. Yeah.
Light the world on fire.
Yeah. Definitely have a lot of questions in that division with Dak coming back. You have the Eagles and the Redskins, but the Redskins, I don't trust them at all with nobody they have, none of their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They can't get anything right. And then Jalen Hurts will be, at the helm for the
Yeah,
Eagles. We'll
I
see what
don't
that is.
trust
That's
him
a
much
lot of
either.
a lot of question marks with him
I don't trust
and
him.
the whole system there. So anyway, all right. So let's move on. To matter of fact, let's move on to the Eagles at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And who you got?
So I got the Eagles taking Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
5'10", 182.
Waddle.
Not that much bigger. Played on Alabama though. I'm not sure that he makes the Eagles like significantly better, but I'm not sure any move really does. I just think that he's a need there. They like their running. They're like their wide receivers, and I think he would easily be the best one there. Also, they play together with Hurts. Waddle and Hurts played together, so you have some continuity there, and I think it helped the offense get going. I think they need a handful of positions offensively. I think they could use a running back, a decent one. I think maybe round 2 they come up with someone, but yeah, Waddle's my pick.
I like it because I have that same pick. So good choice. And Waddle. So he runs a 4.41 40 39-inch vertical.
Athlete.
What's that?
Athlete.
Yeah, just an athlete. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the guy. I think that's the guy here. I do, and they need another playmaker there for him. So
right, and I see a lot of people going Waddle before Smith and a lot of mocks. And Smith seems to be that guy that seems to be getting pushed down further and further. But I'm sticking with it, man. Number 11, second wide receiver off the board.
Okay, all right, I like it. All right, so then we go up down here to 13. We got the Chargers here, and who you got?
So I got Rashad Slater.
Okay.
Yep, offensive tackle. I think he's the most technically sound offensive tackle. I don't think he's as good as Swole, obviously, but I think he is a close second. Little smaller, adds a little more versatility on the line, a little more flexibility, protects Justin Herbert, and I think it's a pretty easy pick for them if he's there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Who you got over there?
I got, I was just thinking while you were talking, I like Slater. I think they definitely go offensive tackle. That's kind of what I was thinking about here. So I think they need to get someone to protect Herbert. I have Christian Darrisaw here from Virginia Tech.
Yep.
I think here and 14, I have Slater going next. So I think that's interchangeable. I think it's Slater or Darrisaw here, 13, 14. Either way, I mean, if they take Slater, I wouldn't be surprised. I think you could flip a coin at these two picks with the Chargers and Vikings. I think they both go offensive tackle. And then they also say he's very good in the run game and pass protection, athletic. His only knock, Darrisaw, is he's slow at picking up blitzes, and he can play left or right tackle. So, but he's
a lot of that's technique. A lot of that's technique.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I have Daniel Jeremiah. I have 14. I have to the Vikings. I have Slater, like I said, and then analyst Daniel Jeremiah likes him over Sewell, and I put in parentheses idiot. So so it's just a little shot there because I don't know anybody that likes over Sewell, but Daniel Jeremiah always likes to say some random stuff. So so great strength and athleticism. Only knock is for Slater is he's got the alligator arms. So when he's blocking, he's going to be out there trying to block with his alligator arms. So that's his only knock, though.
Yeah, stay in front of me, man. Stay in front of me.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time keeping his hands on people, but I think overall he'll be a good plug and play type guy.
Right.
I like it. Big Ten. So yeah. Who you got at 14?
Okay, so at 14, I have Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Yep. Penn State, 6'3", 244, didn't play last year, runs a 4.36. Just a rare, sick linebacker, man, who's just got all the tools. I know there were some issues with him, like back in college with some hazing. I don't know if maybe there's some personality flags there also. And also, I'm not really sure that it's a need for the Vikings. I think it's just one of those situations where it's, best player available.
The value.
I think he is probably the best defensive player in the draft, maybe. So I think that he finally goes at 14 to the Vikings.
Okay. All right. We'll jump over to 15 here. I got another tackle going here. This is where I have the Panthers dropping back to. Do you have Panthers here 15?
Yep.
Because they traded with the Patriots. So
Yep.
I have them taking tackle Elijah Vera Tucker. He is quick, smart, good technique. He can play left tackle or left guard. So that's who I have going here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I got the same pick, 6'4", 315. You got Sam Darnold over there now. And Sam Darnold's another one. I just think he needs some time. I don't think the Jets was a good organization for him to go to. I was looking at my time hop today, and what was that, 3-4 years ago? I was in Cancun. I didn't get to watch the draft, but I was hearing things. And I found out that we took Baker Mayfield, and I was upset.
Because we wanted Darnold.
Wanted Darnold.
People wanted Darnold back then.
I wanted Darnold. I thought he was the guy. And, looking back on it, I'm grateful, because I think we got the right guy. But, yeah, I don't think Darnold's a bad player. I think he can be a really good player in the league. And I think the second chance with the Panthers, you get him a nice tackle here, and we'll see what they can do.
Yeah. I'm going to say that I actually disagree about Darnold. I just don't think he's good. Honestly.
You don't think he's good?
Yeah. I just don't think he's any good. No, I think he's trash. We're
going to see this year. This is the year.
This will be the year we find out. Yeah.
He's either going to be in the league next year, or he's not. Maybe he'll be, a second or third stringer. But
I just watched some of his tape, and I just saw and I'm not the biggest, analyst. It's not like I'm some expert analyst, but I just saw him miss so many throws on so badly that just made me realize there's no way this guy can be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Not good.
Yeah. He would throw balls that were literally not even in the vicinity of any receiver. He just would throw it up. Just too many mistakes.
Yeah, and it's a bad team though.
They are
horrible team.
The only thing that I give him is that he was on that team, and I get it. They didn't really have many receivers either, but
and they didn't have any weapons. They bring Le'Veon Bell over there. He's supposed to be a stud, and he can't rush for more than 30 yards a game. That tells you what that line was like.
Yeah,
I'm sure Bell's lost a step, but it'll be interesting about whoever goes to the Jets.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be easy sailing for him, and we'll see.
Yeah, I just never thought that. I never thought that he was going to get to anything. But again, this will be the year. So
this will be the year. The Jets don't love him because they booted him, and they're sitting there waiting to take the quarterback.
Yeah, and that'll also show too if Zach Wilson, how he does with the Jets. If it shows if it was the quarterback or if it was.
I think it's gonna be tough sledding for him.
Yeah. All right, 16.
16. You want me to roll with 16? You want me to give you my take here?
Yes.
So Arizona, Greg Newsome II, Northwestern, 6'1", 190. Personally, I think he could be the best corner in the draft. Time will tell, but I love its intangibles. NFC West, man's littered with wide receivers. So I think it's an easy move for Arizona. They could certainly go in different directions, but you get a lockdown corner like Greg Newsome, and I think that's the pick at 16.
So I have 16. The Cardinals taking a cornerback as well. I just have them going with Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. Real long, athletic, former high school quarterback. And he actually the latest report that I read though is he might fall even more because he just underwent back surgery in March.
Right. So, he had an injury history before, and now the back thing, and I have him slipping a little bit, and we'll get to that when I get to him and later on. But I think with Farley, I think if there's one guy who slips, it could be he might be that guy.
Yeah.
Further than people would assume.
Yeah, yeah. If there were no injury concerns, I think he's definitely a top
I agree.
20
Well,
pick.
yeah, he was thought of as a probable top 10, at one point. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
We'll see what happens. All right, this is where I have 17, the Raiders. I have Micah Parsons finally going here. He's an elite athlete, 2019 AP All-American, opted out in 2020, fast, explosive, huge hands, 4.36 40 for a linebacker is crazy. And he
Yeah.
also had 10 plus tackles in six of the final 7 games. Um, Very crazy. But I just think that's a steal for them at 17. With him
I
sitting
agree.
there.
That would be a steal. And at 17, I have the Raiders taking Kwity Paye.
Okay.
Yep, edge rusher, Michigan, 6'4", 272, big dude. And I'm with you with the Raiders always doing something that we just don't expect, taking some crazy off the wall receiver or something. I'm with you though. I think this is the year they just stick with the basics. I think Paye is going to be a great player. You were in the middle of the draft now. I think you're going to start. This is where you're going to start seeing a lot of defensive players go.
Right.
And I think the Raiders get one of the better ones.
Yeah, yeah. Damon Arnett is who I was thinking of. I remember that Mayock and those guys laughing when they picked him, thought they were getting a steal, and he didn't even do anything his first year. So it's they just try to outsmart everybody, and then it's not even you're not outsmarting anybody, you're outsmarting yourself. So I like Parsons, and then I like Paye here too. You said the edge rusher from Michigan.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good pick there too. All right, and then 18. Who you got at 18 with the Dolphins?
So I got Azeez Ahualari.
Okay.
Dolphins. Yep. Georgia guy, 6'3", 240. Really good pure edge rusher. I think after they got Pitts earlier in the draft, I think they're going to go defense now. Develop that defense up a little bit. And I think, I think the Dolphins could be a good team. But we'll see. I think Azeez is the pick here. And I don't know. Maybe they go 2 offensive players. Maybe they try to get 2 as much help as they can. But I could see them. And that's why I picked a defense here. I think offense, defense.
Yeah.
Get one of each.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I got Jalen Phillips from Miami. Yeah, edge rusher here. So played for UCLA for 2 years, came to Miami. So I like him going here. I think like you said just a second ago, I think that this is where we start seeing a lot of the defensive players go. A lot of pass rushers this second half. Not many projected, to be home runs so high in the draft, but this is where they start. This is where the starts falling here. So
right.
Should have an impact right away. And also I hear the Ravens would love him to fall, but they'll have to trade up to get him, I think. I don't think he's going to fall all the way to 27. So
I agree.
We'll see what happens. Many teams are interested. So, and then 19 here, we got an interesting one here because I know we talked about this earlier. So I'll go first because yours is bigger. Yours is a bigger splash. I have 19 Washington football team taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Right.
And I think I said Parsons is the best linebacker in draft. This guy is very close. I mean, it's again 1A, 1B. I mean, they're
agree.
They're good. So his ability to cover tight ends, 3-down linebacker with great speed. And I think Washington really needs a linebacker. And so I think that's where they go here.
I love it. I took the same guy.
Okay.
Not to Washington. I actually think this is where Cleveland trades up to number 19.
Brownies.
Yep. They got some draft capital that they can give up. They don't have as many holes as they have in the past. And I think they're in a position where they can trade up. And I think this is their guy. I think he's a little hybridish. He's 6'1", 215, not the biggest linebacker. But he's slated to play all over the field. I know he lined up in the slot last year or last couple of years in Notre Dame over 400 times. So the idea that we can put him at safety and other positions, I think it's going to be big. I think the Browns defense, I think they're really looking for that versatility this year. I think that's going to be their big push. So I think that's the guy. and we'll see. But I talking to you prior, I was thinking that maybe it was going to be Collins, and
Yeah.
Zavin Collins is kind of a hybrid on the bigger end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I guess he was weighing in at 260 in college, but showed up on the pro days at like 270.
270. I read that. He's put on like 11 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the Browns would rather have, somebody who could rush, as opposed to drop back in coverage more, that could still be the pick. We'll see. I like both guys, but yeah, that's my pick. Cormara, Browns 19.
Okay. I like it. I mean, as a Browns fan, I like it. By the way, I'm going to get some sound effect, a little Mac, so I can go press a button when you do that. And it goes, I'm definitely going to get that for the next show. So it goes, whoosh. So just get some sound effects in here. I was just thinking that you would have got a couple of them there, but no, I like that for the Browns. I really do. I think that's fine because we got a bunch of picks. So, I mean, I think moving up from 26 to 19, I mean, we'd have to give up probably like a second and like a fourth, maybe. I mean, I don't even think that much.
I don't even think it would be that. I don't know.
Might not even be that much.
Maybe a third and a fifth.
Yeah, third and a fifth, because it's like you're moving up from 26 to 19. You're not moving up from 15 to 8 like Belichick,
Right. It's middle of the draft.
Yeah,
and I agree. So
yeah.
We'll
So we'll see what happens. So here, so this I played around with a lot at 20, the Bears. I originally, before we started, had them trading up to 15 with the Patriots and taking Trey Lance. But then the more I read, they kept saying that Trey Lance doesn't seem to fall out of the top 10. So I was like, the Bears are either going to have to give up their entire team to get up into the top 10, or they just stay put. And I think they need more help. I think they signed, I know they signed Andy Dalton, who I know that's not long-term, but so I have them taking Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, the offensive tackle. He can play guard or tackle, powerful blocker. Only problem is he's just very average athletic ability, and he's got them, short arms, they say. Right. So them alligator boys. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that one, but I got them taking Tevin Jenkins at 20.
All right. Yep. And I have Caleb Farley. This is where I have him going to. Like you were saying, Virginia Tech, 6'2", 207. Bears have to replace Kyle Fuller.
Yeah.
There are some concerns with him because obviously he hasn't played football in quite a while. I see it's been over like 500 days now. He's coming off that disc surgery. But tall corner, 6'2", big frame. I think that if he gets to 20, that's a solid pick for Chicago.
Yeah, I think that's good value for them there.
Yeah,
especially to replace Fuller, like you said.
Yeah.
Because they need more corners, and their defense does need some help. So I could see them going a lot of different ways here, honestly.
Right. I
could see them going a lot of different ways. So 21 here. Who you got with the Colts here?
So I have Christian Darrisaw.
Okay.
And that's not with the Colts. I have the Steelers trading up.
Okay.
I think they're looking for their next big
24 from 24.
Yep, up to 21. I think the Steelers are looking for that tackle, that bookend tackle for the next however many years. You can protect Big Ben for the half year he has left, and then your next quarterback of the future. Also help their run game. And you're getting to a point where I think after these top three left tackles go, I think there's a bit of a fall off. I think the Steelers probably recognize that. I think Darrisaw is that.
I also agree with you real quick, not to cut you off, but I also think 21 is good for him too, because the Colts and Titans both need offensive linemen too. So that's a good spot for them to jump up.
Yeah. So Steelers trade with the Colts here.
Okay. I like that. I actually like that. That's and that might be true with Darrisaw more. His value might be a little lower than what I had him originally. Is I could see him more in the 20s, the low, the higher 20s, but I have Kwity Paye going here from Michigan. Yeah, the edge rusher, freakish athlete. I think he's just raw. I think he's just he still has some stuff to work on. He struggles against big athletic tackles. He has a great story off the field. I guess his mother, from what I read, his mother had to escape a refugee camp. in Sierra Leone. So, I mean, he's got a, pretty crazy story that I'm sure we'll hear about on draft day. They like to talk about that on those days.
Right.
But, he's got the ability to split the double teams. And I just think he needs to get bigger, put on a little bit of weight.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
Yeah. So then we jump to 22, and I have receiver Kadarius Toney going here for the Titans from Florida. So yeah, they used him at running back and receiver. So this could give Derrick Henry, it's kind of a change of pace guy for Derrick Henry. And they'll line him up at receiver, move him around. They lost Corey Davis, so they need another guy to, opposite AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, I could see them going pass rusher or offensive lineman here too. So, I mean, they could go a variety of ways, but I just think they need another playmaker.
I like it. Okay. I have Jalen Phillips here at number 22, the Titans, 6'5". You'd spoken about him earlier.
LSU edge rusher. Yeah.
Freak athlete, Miami.
Miami from UCLA transferred to Miami. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, transferred. Yeah. So both of these Miami guys, they both have some red flags. It seems like to me, but I think he's the better of the two. I think he's certainly the most athletic of the two. Scouts seem to like him. Some concern about him maybe having some different passions than just football. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just picking away there, but certainly I think one of the best edge rushers coming out of college football. I think you're getting a good player there. So Titans 22, Jalen Phillips.
Yeah. Okay. And I could easily see him going Phillips. I could see going 18 through 27. I mean, I think he could go anywhere, but yeah, that's a good spot for him. And then 23, I have your guy. You had him earlier. I don't remember where you said where'd you have Newsome going? Was it the Cardinals? I think you said, right?
Yeah. Newsome, Arizona.
Yeah. You had him going to Arizona. Okay. I got him coming here. I got him going here to the Jets. This is another pick that the Jets have. They had that monster trade for Jamal Adams. So they have that 23 pick here from Seattle. And very good. And I just read about him. You alluded to him. You talked about him earlier. Very good in jump ball situations. Even though he's got the small build, he only had one career interception and has some durability issues. And I said, it sounds like the perfect spot for the Jets because they're always, picking guys like this and just they don't pan out. So, he could be good. I don't know. I mean, this one's tough. The one career interception, I guess, isn't the end of the world because there's a lot of corners that, if you're shut down, you don't get a ton of interceptions sometimes. But, we'll see what happens. He played in the Big Ten, so.
Right. At 23, I have Asante Samuel Jr.
Okay, so you got a corner going here too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 5'10", 185, Florida State. Sean McDermott, Coach Samuel's dad.
Okay.
Back in the day with the Eagles. When you were just a kid yourself. So I kind of like that. Gets to play opposite Trey Davis White. I don't think the Jets love the tackles coming out at this point. Like I said, I think there's a drop off, and I don't think there's a huge drop off with corners at this point. I think Asante Samuel Jr. is a safe pick, and I think that's it.
Okay. And then 24 here, you got the Colts dropping back, right?
Actually, I had the Colts dropping back, but I have them trading once again.
Okay.
I think Tampa trades with the Colts here.
From 32?
Yep. They trade all the way up. I think they're in win now. They got Tom Brady for another year or two, or 10, who knows. But 6'5", 310 defensive lineman. They're just going to chew up that middle of the field.
Who's that? Who you got? Who is it?
Christian Barmore. Sorry.
Okay. Barmore. Yeah, I like him.
Barmore.
Yeah, I like him. He might be the best defensive lineman in the class, really.
Oh, yeah, because it's not super deep, and I think he is. And I think Tampa believes that too. And I think Tampa's going to move up. They don't have many weaknesses on that team. They don't even need players. I could also see them just continuing to trade back. build up capital for, next year's draft. But in this mock, I have them moving up. They get a really good player.
Okay. And then you got the Colts dropping back to 32 then?
Yep. Colts
Okay.
trade twice, gets
Okay.
32.
Okay. All right. And so I have the Steelers here taken. I've heard a lot of connections with the running back, Najee Harris. Najee Harris,
Oh, you
running
got a
back
running
from
back going in the
Alabama.
first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's the consensus #1 running back. They just don't know if, running backs nowadays don't seem to go high anymore. So
Yeah, I don't have one in my first round, so
yeah, he's the only one. And if he's the only one, and just because I know he has a lot of connections with the Steelers, they lost James Conner to the Cardinals. Alabama's all-time leader in touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty incredible for Alabama.
that is, they produce some great running backs. So
Yeah, good change of direction, good in pass protection. So how do you feel about running backs going in the first round nowadays? What's your take on those?
I mean, I think if the guy's there, the guy's there. Kuiper's one of those guys that I respect. He's been around for like 40 years.
Says it every year.
Says it every year. Do not take a running back in the first round.
Yeah.
Obviously there's running backs that come around and you're just like, man, I got to take this guy. He's a stud.
Yeah.
But the issue with running backs is they just have a short lifespan.
Right.
There's no guarantee they're going to be great. You can generally pick up a decent one later in the rounds. Even if you do hit in the first round with a running back, that's almost more of an issue because now you have him for 5 years. He's a stud.
You got to pay him.
Now you have to pay him. And those next 5 years aren't going to be good.
Right. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
So, you look what Dallas did with Zeke. You look at what anybody did with these guys that they signed. And I don't see Zeke. I don't even know if Zeke will be the starter at the end of the year. I think they just use them up, 300-400 carries a season.
Yeah.
Like shit.
Pounded him away. That's why I feel like the Steelers did that with Le'Veon too. Just overused him like crazy.
Yeah. You got 5 good years. So if I was a GM, I probably wouldn't take a running back. I'd wait, but I'm not against the idea of running back later on.
That's the way I look at it. I think if the value's there and it makes sense, because you see it working. I mean, you see it working sometimes if you take, when you take the guys. I mean, I think we took Chubb. Was it the first pick of the second? It was the top of the second round, right?
Top of the second round.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, look how he's worked out. I mean, he's been great.
He's a beast.
He's a beast, man. Beast.
He's a beast. And I'll gladly pay Chubb because he's one of my favorite players. Just head down, blue collar.
And that's you look back on that now, and it's like that was great value at the time. I mean, it was yeah. So anyway, I just think that's you decide and go. You decide there's nothing against it. It's just you got to evaluate the value of it. So you will jump into 25 here. This is where I got Christian Barmore going, the defensive tackle from Alabama. I got him dropping a little bit to the Jags because he supposedly had a disappointing pro day. Not that good against the run, not as strong as you'd like. But he is fast, athletic, big. I mean, he's got some off the field issues, they say too. So,
it's one of those big guys that takes up a lot of space in the middle of the field.
Yeah. It's I think he's a first round pick, so it's like 25 is,
getting he's the best. Like I said, I think he's the best defensive lineman in the draft against him, and obviously Alabama guy, he's playing with studs everywhere. So
yeah. Who you got at 25?
Tevin Jenkins, Jacksonville.
Okay.
Oklahoma State, 6'6", 320 offensive lineman. I think he's a step down from the other 3 or 4, but I think Jacksonville uses this pick to protect their new asset. Can play either tackle or guard. Seems like a safe pick here.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, protect Lawrence too. That makes sense.
Yep.
All right, this is where we get to the 26. So you have the Washington, right?
I have, Washington's here. That's where they traded with Cleveland. I have them taken the guy I initially thought was going to Cleveland. I still think could. Zavin Collins. Tulsa, 6'4", 260, big linebacker.
Yeah.
Can rush the passer and can play a couple positions up on the line if he wanted to. It's just a variety of schemes. Pro day weighing at 270, like I said, could be a concern for a team. depending on what you're looking for. He's not going to be one of those linebackers that drops back a bunch. But he was in college at least very good at running side to side. He can run the field. So he might just be one of those dudes. He's big, but he can, run with the best of them. He seems to be a freak of, athletic nature. I think this is a great pick. 26, Zavin Collins, Washington.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to end up going in the first round. I think the weight is a very small issue. I mean, again, like you go to the NFL, you get a personal trainer, he'll knock off 10 pounds. It's just
you can add it. You can
Yeah, I mean that's easy stuff there. The only thing I read about him with Belichick, I originally thought that he might go with Belichick, but I think he struggles in. If I'm not mistaken, I think they say he struggles. Let me see. I think I have it here. He struggles in some of the nickel and dime scenarios, some of the nickel and dime packages.
And I could see that
doesn't fit those schemes. So some teams are staying away from him because, a lot of teams are playing nickel and dime now because everybody's pass heavy. So,
right. Yep. Yeah. The pass happy league.
Pass happy league. So we got, I have the Browns staying put here and taking, so I read, yeah, we need the sound effects.
Give it to me.
So, we're going to go with Damon Davis from Kentucky, linebacker.
See, you know what? I thought his name was literally Jamin Davis, and that's
I did too. I looked it up though, and it said pronounced Jamin. Yeah.
Yeah, I would change that if I was him. I'd be like, no, it's Jamin.
Yeah, I had to look it up. There's another one that I'm going to struggle with here in a little bit.
Banging heads, man.
One of the other tackles.
Jamin Davis.
Davis. I like him, man. He's raw.
He's climbing up the board, man, fast.
He is. That's my first sentence. He's one of the fastest rising players over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He just lacks experience, but he's long and can get inside, or he can get sideline to sideline. Several big plays against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Browns need another defensive playmaker. We signed Anthony Walker, as we both know, in free agency, linebacker who will help, but this guy would be perfect. Put him in right away. He'll be raw, but he's fast enough and athletic enough that I think he'll learn. Now, if the other linebackers are there, Onwuzu, Koromoa, or Micah Parsons, obviously, you might, but Micah Parsons isn't falling all the way down there. So we would have to trade up, like you'd said in your mock 19. But that's who I like him taking here. And again, they could go corner, or if Christian Barmore is there, I could see him taking him. But Andrew Berry's pretty calculated with things. That's the only thing that worries me with making him my mock draft pick here. Like Barmore and Jamin Davis, they have more question marks, but I also feel like at 26, you're getting to the point where you don't get the perfect player anymore.
You're getting questions. Yeah. And you like you said, Jamin Davis, 11 career starts.
Yeah.
So you kind of worried about that. Really, he's one of those guys. He's got good tape, combine monster.
Right.
And, those are the guys. Like you see this guy's putting up all these crazy weights and running all this crazy speed, and people fall in love with him.
Yeah, saw their stock rises. So
just can hold them. So
27 Ravens. I got Azeez Ojulari. Didn't you? I believe you already had him going off your board, right? Did we talk about him? Pass rusher. Pass rusher from Georgia? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Maybe I misunderstood. Okay. Yeah, pass rusher from Georgia. I just think it's another guy. Falls into the Ravens' lap. It seems that way every year for the Ravens draft. Like, Newsome, Ozzie Newsome's not the GM there anymore. Saw he stepped aside, but he's still a consultant and an advisor. So, I just feel like the Ravens at the end of drafts every year, the end of the first round, they take a guy and I'm like, that's who I would pick, That's who I go with. So.
I did take Azeez, number 18. I had him going to the Dolphins. So
so you had him. Okay. Yeah, so I have him falling a little bit more than you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great value then.
Yeah.
That'd be great value.
Yeah, exactly. So led the SEC in sacks. He's long, ran a 4.6 340. Again, we just, it's one of those guys that I think can fit in right away. Baltimore needs another pass rusher too. So.
Right. And I'm right there with you. I took Jason Owa here. 6'5", 253 edge rusher. Ravens lose two prominent pass rushers And I'm with you. Ravens do what Ravens do. They take great defensive players, and you're just sitting there, and you just know he's going to be like a future Hall of Famer. So
it's like they never surprise you. They take the exact person they're supposed to take every time, and they end up working out. I mean, it's just it's a player that everybody's talked about. It's a player that's is going to be an impact player, and he's that good. So, all right, we got just a few more here, and then we'll be wrapped up on episode 1 here. So we got the 28, the Saints. This is where I have Zavin Collins going, like we talked about from Tulsa. Okay. So I think he falls, but I think he falls down here. And again, I think this is good value for the Saints. I think he's the type of guy fits in there. I just think he drops a little bit just because of, some of the red flags with the weight. And, to me, like I said, I think that's easy to fix, but, I think that'll be something that he knocks off the weight and then he fits in and he's ready to go. He's ready to play.
Right. So I like that. At 28, this is where I have Damon Davis going to the Saints. Yep. Kentucky 6'4", 234. Like I was saying with the career starts, you're not really sure. But I think he has a super high ceiling. I've heard some people say he's the highest ceiling of all the linebackers.
Yeah.
Consistently climbing up draft boards, might not just start off the greatest, but I you give him a couple games, maybe a season, it's gonna be a monster.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good value here for the linebackers at the end of the first. So yeah, And then Packers 29. Who you got there?
Okay, so I got another offensive lineman here. Green Bay, Landon Dickerson, Alabama, 6'6", 325. I get, concerned with all these Alabama players. It's like they're all playing together. It's like you got a pro team out there, and you're wondering, like, are they really this good, or are they getting help? I don't know. We'll see. Alabama just produces great talent. I haven't counted, but it seems like they've had like 5 guys go off the board now already.
I feel like it's more what you said. I feel like they are good. They're just good players because they get the top recruits. They get the top players in the country every year. So yeah.
So you pick up some protection for Aaron Rodgers. You get Aaron Jones, another blocker. I think it's a good pick for them.
Yeah. I got him taking an offensive tackle here too. I could see him going receiver though too. I was going to say get another receiver for Rodgers because they didn't get one last year when he wanted one. They took Jordan Love, and they wanted that. He wanted a receiver, but I have them taking Jalen Mayfield for Michigan. So very good athlete. Yeah, tackle. Very good athlete. Plug him in and play right away. Very good athlete, great run blocker, high football IQ, handles speed rush, moves well, and and also a corner. It wouldn't surprise me if they took a corner. Corner receiver wouldn't surprise me, but I like the tackle. So 30, we got the Bills last 3 picks. I got Joseph Osaya from Texas going here, and he's athletic, covers a lot of ground, bends off the edge well. He grew up playing soccer, so I respect that. Soccer's my go-to.
Respect that soccer game.
Yeah. Goal. 2020 All-American. He just needs to get stronger. Struggled to get around linemen when they were able to square up with him. So just he's a good player, good value here at 30.
Right. And I have Trayvon Moehrig. Am I pronouncing that correct? That was one of those I wasn't sure.
That's what I have it pronounced as well. Okay. Yeah, Moehrig, yeah.
Okay, Buffalo, 6'2", 208 safety. It's not an incredibly deep draft class at safety. Buffalo could take a running back here. If there's going to be one in the first round, this is where I would say it probably is. But I just think they play it safe. They get a little help in the secondary. Buffalo can score with the best of them. So it just adds to that defense, prevents so many scores going up against them.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good pick because I got him going next year to the Ravens at 31. I got the same situation. He's just sitting there. He's like he's top 15 player in the draft. And he's just sitting here for the Ravens. And the Ravens, they accumulated this pick. Where'd this guy go? Did he jump out the window?
I disappeared, bro.
Oh, shoot. He jumped out the window.
My MacBook was starting to die here, so.
Charge her up.
I did, dude. I had to move.
Charger up. So I got Morig going here to the Ravens 31. Again, like I said, I think he just is sitting there, the Ravens are just laughing, like, you're leaving us these players still? Okay. And so,
Right.
and it's the similar situation I wrote down to Kyle Pitts, is that he's the only player at that position that I even think's worth a first round pick, the only safety.
Right.
And then there's a big drop off, kind of like Pitts, tight end, and big drop off. So, so I think this is a good fit here for the Ravens.
I like it. I got Rashard Bateman going to the Ravens 31.
Okay. They do need help at receiver too.
They need help at receiver. Yep. Get another weapon for Lamar. 6'2", 209, NFL size, great hands. I got him. He's kind of all over the board.
Right.
I've seen some of these mocks where he's going, middle of the second round. And I got some where he's going middle of the first. So he's just one of those players that's going to, I think, surprise you wherever he goes. But I think this would be a good spot for him. Give Lamar a little help.
Yeah. Lamar they need another weapon there. So that's a good one. So 32 here, I got the Bucks, and I got Rondell Moore here. The receiver from Purdue.
Yeah.
And I didn't know again, he's another one that's all over the place. Like he's just so small, 5'7". So you don't know what's going to happen. So small, but he's crazy athlete, 4.29 40, and he has a 42.5-inch vertical. So, and he has good ball skills. He's just one of those guys makes plays.
Yeah,
and
Tom
I just think
Brady would love somebody.
I was just gonna say that's what I have here. Perfect slot receiver for Tom Brady. You got Mike Evans and Godwin on the outside with this kid on the inside. I mean, this guy would get thrown 10 balls a game. So, there's another one. So that takes up my first round. But I was going to mention too, there's a guy that I don't think you have him here, and I think he could be a first round pick. He's another defensive lineman, and Levi Onwuserski. So he's another one. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but it is another player he's a good defensive lineman. So I could see him falling his way, or making his way up into the first round for some of these guys. But we'll see what happens. Who you got finishing up yours?
32. Quinn Miners. Colts trade back. They've traded back twice now in my mock. He's from a small school, Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks.
Okay.
6'3", 320. But he's been turning heads since the Senior Bowl.
What position? Who'd you say it is?
Extremely well.
What position? Who'd you say?
He's offensive line. He's
lineman for the Colts.
Probably guard. Yeah. So I think he's a guy that nobody's really paying attention to. Haven't seen him mocked a lot in the first, but I have him scooting up.
I like it. Anybody else you could see making their way into the first round?
I think Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida.
Yeah, that's right. I got him in there.
I'm hearing a lot about him. And I would
corner from Georgia too. I meant to write his name down. I think it was Tyson. I forget what it is. The corner from Georgia. He's a big guy, but I think he's fallen down to like, he originally was a top 20. But I think he's fallen down. And the other one that I don't have that I think easily could is Asante Samuel Jr. I didn't have him, but I could see him. See him going.
Yeah, I mean, you know how corners go, and they're important. I think most defensive coordinators, I would put corners right up there with defensive ends as far as players to build their defense around. So that's what I have. And as far as corners go, one guy I think that might slip. I think Caleb Farley, just based on some of his.
Yeah.
I think he could be one that slips, and it's kind of weird. Like wide receivers and corners seem to be like those two positions in the draft where it's like you'll see some guy you've never heard of, pop up at number 20, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? And teams have their own draft boards, and so you never know. You never know with those positions, but that's it, man. As far as the draft goes, I think we kind of on the same page with a lot of these.
Yeah, definitely. Tyson Campbell is the corner's name from Georgia. Big guy. He might. I don't know if he'll make his way to the first round, but you'll hear him early on day 2. But yeah, like you said it right. I mean, we we both sent each other information after we did our mocks, and it was like we had a lot of similarities, without even looking. So it was.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we just
one
did our
thing
research and
I could see this, and nobody's talking about this. Actually, they're saying this won't happen, but I keep saying that the Patriots just are not interested in Jimmy G. I think that could be a smokescreen. If they can't crawl up, I could definitely see that move for Jimmy G. Trade. We'll see how it goes, but I think that there's still some love there between Belichick and.
I mean, I don't know why it's such a crazy thing. I mean, he hasn't panned out with the Niners like they thought he would, and it's obviously not working. And the Patriots, I mean, he played well with the Patriots.
That system, he does, man. And Belichick wanted to keep him so badly, and I don't know.
I think Cam Newton's the answer. That's for sure.
Cam Newton is not the answer. He's just not a great player.
No, exactly. He had one good year. I feel like he had one good year, and he used to put up some good fantasy numbers, but I never was a big fan of him, and especially lately. I think he's definitely just went downhill since that one good year. So
he's terrible.
He's terrible. He's terrible. Well, good first episode.
Everyone, good mock, man.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, for our first ever
first official
sports podcast episode, #1 sports podcast in the world. We will be making changes. We will bring you more. We'll bring more information about the draft over the next couple of days as we make our changes. We will be putting out content every day on our YouTube channel, KP&AC Media. We will be putting out our videos on Instagram. It's KP_AC_media. Please follow us and subscribe, and we appreciate it. Until next time, we're out. Peace.